And we begin at the nation's highest court. On the docket today, high-stakes arguments about whether states can ban transgender athletes from competing in girls' and women's sports teams. 27 states could be affected by what happens in that courtroom today. And you may remember it was just back in February when President Trump signed an executive order stripping federal funding from programs that allow transgender athletes to compete in girls' and women's sports teams. Right now, justices are hearing from lawyers in two cases involving restrictions from Idaho and West Virginia. Take a listen to what we heard just moments ago from Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
That makes no sense to me. All right? And I don't know how you can say sex classification is not being challenged. There's no question here that a male who identifies as a female, but it's a male, is being excluded from a female sport, correct?
That's correct.
All right? By its nature, that's a sex classification. And all sex classifications, we have said repeatedly in our case law, require intermediate scrutiny. Now, what you're saying is, well, she's not challenging a males generally not playing. She just doesn't want to be the one male excluded. So it's a subclass of people that she's challenging, correct?
Yes, I think that is correct.
All right.
And joining us now is CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman. Katrina, can you walk us through the two cases that are being argued in court today?
So the first case is out of Idaho, and they actually just finished arguments for this one. This is based on the first state ban to bar transgender girls and women from playing in female sports there. It was brought by Lindsay Hecox. She's a college student who wanted to try out for the track and cross country teams. But one twist in this case is that Lindsay Hecox now wants the court to dismiss her case. She said she no longer plans to play in women's sports in Idaho. This no longer applies. It's been said that she doesn't want this public attention and scrutiny being at the focal point of this very high-profile case. The justices are still deciding what they're going to do with that, but there were a lot of questions today about whether that case is just moot because she's no longer planning to engage in women's sports. Now, the other case is out of West Virginia. It was brought by a middle schooler there who also wanted to play on sports teams at her middle school. Now, at issue here, legally speaking, are two laws in particular. Both of the cases raise the issue of the fact that they think these laws barring them from playing in women's sports violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. The West Virginia case also says that this is in violation of Title IX, which prohibits sex discrimination in schools that receive federal funding.
Katrina, I want to ask you about next steps in all this, because there are 27 states with laws banning transgender athletes from girls and women's sports. So how will the decision in this affect those 27 states?
This will ultimately depend on how the justices decide to rule here. Will they rule narrowly, or will they make a broad ruling that has a nationwide impact? The plaintiffs in these cases are actually urging the justices to make a narrow ruling, to decide in the case of these two individual transgender women and girl, does this ban violate the law? Is it unconstitutional? What the states want, though, who are arguing here, is they want a broad decision. They don't want the justices to make these case-by-case determinations. They want them to say that these laws are valid, that they are constitutional, and that they should remain in place in all of these states across the country.
Okay, Katrina Kaufman, thank you.